Hey guys, welcome back to Infinite Math Help Squared. This is a part 2, if you will, with multiplying decimals, but this time we're going to look at multiplying them not with the algorithm, but with partial products and area model side by side. So we're going to actually use the same two problems that we did in the algorithm, but now you get to see it a different way. I have on the left here, I have it set up the old-fashioned way, but we're going to use partial products and we're going to still put them here. And then this is going to be looking at it as an area model. And then the other problem that we did, the 5.4 times 2.3 is right here. Okay, so let's get to it. So with partial products, instead of having to break up the place values and carry, you're just going to put the answer at the bottom and add it all up at the end, okay? So this means that when I start off using the 2 here to multiply piece by piece, I don't have to break it up and carry anything. I can just put my response here. So to start with, we're doing 2 times 4/10. Now you can look at this two ways, right? You can look at this as 2 times 4/10. And if you're okay with multiplying a whole number times a fraction, then you know that this is 8/10. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put that there. But the other way that you can look at this is that I have 2 sets of 4/10, right? Because multiplication is repeated addition. So 0.4 and 0.4, or 4/10 and 4/10 is 8/10. Or you can even write that 4/10 and 4/10 is 8/10. Okay, so got it. Okay, this means that the only thing that's left is to multiply this 2 times 5, and 2 times 5 we said was 10. So over here I have no wholes, but now I have 10 and no tenths. And then what do? Just like the last step in the algorithm, we are going to add everything up. And what do you know? You got the same answer as last time using the algorithm. Okay, now let's take a look at the area model. Area models are nice because it uses dimensions and space to multiply, right? All right, so I can do this as 2 times 5 for this space here. Let's highlight that, right? I'm looking at this space here only, and that is 2 times 5, which is 10. And then I'm going to focus on this space here, which is also a height of 2, but this time it's only a length of 4/10. And over here, I'm just going to point you to over here when we did the 2 times 4/10. All right, so we know that this is 8/10 over here. Well, guess what we're going to do? That's right, we're going to add them up, right? Because we want the total area or the final product. And if I take 10 wholes and add it to 8/10, then yes, I'm going to still get 10.8. Let's take a look at what happens when it's a little bit more complicated, right? So this time I'm starting with 3/10 times 4/10, but if we do what we did in the last slide, then it's not a problem, is it? 3/10 times 4/10, and that would just be 12/10. Well, 12 100ths, right? 12 hundredths, right? And then that's easy enough to write there like that. Okay, so what is the next one? 3/10 times 5 wholes. Okay, so let's do this. 5 wholes times 3/10. Well, that's just going to be 15/10. Okay, now 15/10, you might be saying, well, what the heck is 15/10? Now, 15 is 2 digits, 2 place values, but I'm supposed to be in a tenths place value. So think about 15 divided by 10 then, right? Now, I'm going to give you another video link at the end so that you can see patterns when multiplying or dividing by 10. So this is just going to be 1.5. And I'll go ahead and I'll put my placeholders. Okay, so now 3/10 is done. Let's get the 2 wholes done. 2 wholes times 4/10. Well, we saw that over here, guys. We did the 2 wholes times the 4/10, and it was the 8/10, and we did that over here as well. So we don't have to redo that. We already know that it's 8/10. Okay, easy enough, right? Last one, we also did 2 times 5. Okay, so here we go. Now you guessed it, we're adding them all up and then we're going to be done. Here in the hundreds column, 2 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0, 1 plus 5 plus 8. That is going, actually, you can add this up partially also, but I'm going to stick with the old-fashioned way. And then we have 1 and 1 and 1, and that's 12.42. Okay, let's take a look at the area model. Again, we're going to do it by space. So let's focus on this part right here first. This space is worth 2 times 5. Let's take a look at this tiny space. This tiny space is worth 2 times 4/10, which we already are well versed in. Next one, this smaller rectangle here is 3/10 times 5. Now we did 3/10 times 5, and that ended up being the 1.5. And then the last but not least, the tiniest part of our area model is the 3/10 times the 4/10, which we also did already. So we got and then we add everything up, which we actually already did over here, but now you get to see it visually. As a matter of fact, let's add this up partially now since we didn't do it over there. If I do my wholes, 10 and 1, okay, and then if I do my hundredths, and then if I do my tenths, we have 5/10, we have 8/10, and we have 1/10. And if you think about money, you can say that this is 80 cents, 10 cents, and 50 cents. So we can break this up. We can break this up so that you could break it up different ways, but 80 cents and 10 cents would be 90 cents. And then if I add 50 cents, you know that only out of here, 10 cents comes out to make another $1. And then what am I left with? 40 cents. And when you add it all up, oh, looks like I made a mistake because I'm supposed to get 12.42. And this part is okay, but this part is not. Oh, it's because I have my 2 here. I was supposed to write a 0. I said 40 cents, but I wrote 42 cents. And then there you go. That's why it's good to always predict or check your work, because you can make simple minor calculation errors like that. All right, but there you go. Area model, partial products, algorithm, and then dividing by 10 and multiplying by 10 to come. Till next time, guys.